To Co-Founder Diaries. I'm Laquanda.
And I'm Tiera.
We're your
Entrepreneur Besties. Okay, guys, today we finally got my girl on. This has been like in the making for months, but here we are. We're finally getting it done. I'm so excited to have her. This is my girl, Kenisha. We go back way before all this entrepreneur stuff has started. But I'm so happy to have her on to actually share her journey because this girl is like a powerhouse. And to actually have watched her grow and blossom and bloom into the person she is today, I can't wait for you guys to hear her story and to really just get some gems because she is a wealth of knowledge. So, none other than Miss Kenisha, Klee brand. She has so many things, accolades under her name, so now it is a brand. I'm gonna let her expand upon that. So go ahead, Kenisha, introduce yourself, tell us how you got started, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you both for having me on. But I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna say who I am. Now I'm gonna start from the beginning. So Kenisha, owner of the Klee brand. That is a consulting firm where we teach people how to build wealth through ownership. We teach through the vehicles of business consulting, HR consulting, franchise consulting, and now we have a real estate brokerage arm that we are moving under the Klee brand. Okay, so I would say about 14 and a half, 15 years ago, I started as a store manager at Subway. And within a year, I did every position that you can do in operations, whether it's area manager, training manager. I went around from store to store, built those stores up, left, built other stores up until I got a position in the office, in which the office meant human resources, and I also worked for the corporate office for Subway. So I covered most of Michigan and Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio to be exact, and I did all the franchise sales, all the store transfers, relocations, I helped with remodels, I did all the real estate. Pretty much anything you can think of Subway franchise related or franchisee related. So if it was a situation where somebody walked away from their store, I was the one figuring out what we gonna do with the store. If it was a situation where a store needed to close, I was the one approving and declining the store closures. I was also the one approving and denying the new franchisees that came in the system in that area. Like I said, along with HR and just a bunch of other stuff that I was doing in that company too. I did that for about 14 and a half years. I've always did things on the side, but I've had that career. I also purchased a Subway while still working my career. So in 2020, I purchased a Subway in downtown Detroit, inside the First National Building. And also within that time frame, I got certified to be a business consultant. I got my HR certification where you got to take a state test, like a license type of test. And I also got my real estate brokerage license. So I feel like everything that I was doing was setting me up for like this point right here.
Yes.
And I feel like the Klee brand, I'm doing it full time now, but the intention was there years ago. I had to look back because I started this LLC in 2022.
Wow.
But because I had a career, I never was able to fully focus on it. So now, this year, I'm tired of doing all these things for other people. I'm tired of building all these companies for other people, and I decided that it's really time for me to build my own company. So I got some advice. I was at church, and it was the sermon that day was use everything God gave you.
Oh, that's powerful.
Listen, preach.
Because everybody always telling me to just focus on one thing or just do this or you move doing too much. And I never felt like I was doing too much. I just felt like they just didn't understand it. They don't do enough. So when
That part.
I got that, like, and God gave you, I was like, man. So I like found a way to wrap my arms around everything that I do and offer it to the community. So I packaged it as the Klee brand.
Thinking in my head, because I'm listening to everything you said you did. You have all the experience to run your own company, and you taking an untraditional route. Most people go and run their own company by trial and error, but you work for a corporation. In a sense, you wasn't doing you was doing everything that typically you would do as an entrepreneur, but you were just working under somebody
and learning from them and benefiting from them, essentially, because
instead of putting your money into it, making those errors. And people always say on social media, that's why I was so excited to have you on the journey from being a 9 to 5 to owning your own, because it's different ways to do it. You don't have to just go and own your own business. You can go work for somebody, treat it like you're an entrepreneur in training, and then when it's your time, you take off.
You pivot from there.
Yeah, and
so this is your pivot season. So God gave you all those blessings. Like they was having you train here, get certified there. You're learning systems of how to process, learning HR, learning how to build brick and mortars pretty much from the ground up. And now, since you have all this wealth of knowledge, now you can take that and bundle that into something, to make it your own. And I think that, like, for entrepreneurship, which like holds us back, is, like I said, that scary piece of, like you just said, and I want to expand upon that, taking the risk. Because almost every person we talk to, essentially, it boils down to that, taking the risk. And at what point in your career do you pivot and take that leap of faith? Like, what is it, like, what is that fine line between knowing when to go? Because I think everybody asks that. When do you know it's your time to exit?
So I stayed too long.
Yes, way too long. 15 years. I thought you was crazy. I kept telling you. I was like, friend, that's a long time.
Did you want to retire with them, or you always knew you was going to pivot to be an entrepreneur?
I think she was fully invested, though, at one point.
But I was, like, I'm not even going to lie, I was scared, too. So, like, that was the level of security. I was very valuable there. I knew everything, did everything. I got paid really good. That was comfort. But I stayed too long. But I think when things, like, it's all about alignment. When things aren't aligning with you, that's when you know it's time to go. So and this is no shade to where I still got very good relationships with everybody there. I was just there last week. So, but still, we grow, and sometimes you grow. Like, I would find myself growing out of that space, and my boss did too. He saw me grow out of that space too. So I feel like I kind of overqualified myself out of that company. So once that started to happen and things on the line, I found myself not aligning with the changes that's being made. I found myself, like, I'm a person where, like, I feel it in my body when things aren't right. So I found myself getting sick, going in. It was very easy. What I was doing was easy. But yeah, I found myself, I told you, like, I'm getting sick, going in and things like that. That's when I knew it's time to go. And I think I might have told you this, but I told some people in December, I was like, I think I only got like 3 months left. And that's exactly
you spoke it into existence.
Yeah, I think my life gonna look different next year. I think I only got like 3 months left. And my last day was April 4th. Yep. But alignment, I swear, that's what I feel like it is, like alignment. It has to make sense for you.
It's so funny because as you're saying that, I'm like, oh my God, like, I feel the same way, and I'm like really scared, but I'm doing all the things outside that I know. That's why I'm like asking these questions, like, as far as like making things profitable, making it sustainable, being able to like continue to like live your lifestyle that you've already built off of your skills, because I think that'd be the main thing that make us stay too long, because it's like we just feel comfortable. We're comfortable, but we need to get uncomfortable and really bet on ourselves. Like, so we're second guessing the things that God has blessed us with, meaning all the skills that we've learned over that time, and just not betting, not taking that step, not having, I guess, a great enough faith, essentially, because we're limiting ourselves to think like, I could never sustain this without them, in a sense.
So another thing I did, and first of all, you never know how things are gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like, tomorrow, I'm here because I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I have to teach a workshop. Oh, I'm teaching a workshop? It's something I always wanted to do, but like, okay, I done built this credibility where people trust me to teach a workshop.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, I got to speak at Michigan State. I'm on the franchise panel speaking to all the high school and college kids. But I didn't think that, like, those are things that just popped up from just the steps that I'm taking. So you just never know how it's going to unfold. That's why I say you just got to do it. But also, like, you'll be fine. I did something, I guess I did it on purpose, but not for this purpose. But the last, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 years, I've been, like, navigating in, like, the small business, Detroit entrepreneur space.
Networking.
With in that. But you know what it did? It put me around all these people who sustain their lifestyle through their, like, business. So it showed me that it's possible. If I wouldn't have been around them, I wouldn't have known, like, I wouldn't have seen it for myself. So now I'm around where I see access to capital where I didn't see that before, access to grants, access to, like, workshops and things like, you know, these coaching and stuff like that. I would have never seen that if I didn't put myself in that environment.
Okay, Kenisha, let me take it back because
she
when
said
you
a lot.
when you worked at Subway, right? You didn't see yourself being an entrepreneur. You just saw yourself growing with the business, right? At first. Or you always knew you was going to be an entrepreneur?
I always knew. I knew when I was a kid that I was, like, when people be like, what are you going to be? Oh, I'm a doctor. No, I don't want to be that. I just knew that I would have my own. I didn't know what that meant.
Okay.
But when I didn't even apply for that Subway position. I was working at Charlie's and I was in college.
I remember.
Full circle moment. My real estate clients and some franchisees from Charlie's, by the way. But I was working at Charlie's cheesesteaks since I was 15, and then, like, this recruiter or something reached out to me. I thought it was a scam at first, but he reached out to me, which was perfect because I'm all about growing, and at Charlie's, I was at the highest level that I could be at. So I was assistant manager. I couldn't be a store manager. That's a smaller company. And he reached out, and he was offering me a store manager position. It was scary. Everything I do is scary, but I just do it anyway. And I was like, all right. So I did that. I was still in college. I was going to school for business, but I didn't know, Subway, like, starting there would take me all the way here. I was just open to what was happening, and I just continued to grow. And one of the things I've always done is I've always did things that people didn't want to do. And people used to tell, Tiera used to tell me I was crazy too.
Yeah.
People used to tell me I was crazy because I was crazy though.
No, you overachiever.
Yes,
you work hard. I
she
can just tell. If, like,
it was a lot, like, all the driving that she was doing, like she said, when she was maintaining all them stores, and I was looking at her like, okay, you taking your vehicle, and she's like, but they're paying me for gas, and I was like, that's too much. Like, it's too much. Like, why are you doing all that? Like, you drive all around town, you put all these miles, you know, destroying your car. And it says, but she's like, I'm getting mileage and it's gonna be worth my while. Like, I mean, it's fine. And she used to have all this food in her car all the time. It just used to be a mess. And all I could think was, hell no. I would never do that. And then look at her, like I said.
Well, I did. So the strategy was, do the things that people don't want to do because that's how you learn.
That is true. Yeah.
That's able to learn all the different things because I became, like, what the company needed.
The goats, yeah.
I became that, but my thought was, this is going to benefit me later down the line. But
and it did.
Great.
So when you say it's going to benefit you later on the line, was that in, like, upper management position or owning your own franchise? What was that? You didn't know at that time? Okay.
On my own. I knew because I had this thing where I was like, I'm going to work hard now so I can work smarter later.
Okay.
And now I still feel like I work hard, but not like I don't have that. Like my soul is not that hustle anymore. It's more like aligning and working smarter. Like I did a video earlier because I'm trying to get my TikTok back, but I did a video earlier and I'm like, am I crazy? Because some of the opportunities that I get, I decline if it don't feel right. That was never me.
No, you used to take everything, essentially.
Yeah, and I had one last week where the opportunity, one part was okay, but the other part I was like, nah, see, that will take too much from me, too much of my capacity, and it just didn't feel right. So I told them I would do one part, but I was like, I won't do the other part. And they was like, okay. And I was like,
like you're in control.
So we still moving forward. So I'm like, okay, that's like, this is teaching.
You're getting to that soft spot to where, like you said, like it's aligning with you. This is your business, and that's how business go. Like you get to choose what it is that you want to do, and that is up to your discretion. You don't have to take everything.
At the end of the day, as a business owner, if I'm going to approach you, I'm going to max it out. I'm going to say, I think she's capable of doing that, and if you only say this, I'm okay, then I'll just find somebody else. Of course, anybody going to try.
Or that's just like when you're going to buy a car and they say it's this amount and you push back like, no, I'm about to pay this. There's always a middle ground that they're going to meet you at. But if you just accept the first offer, then that's your loss. So you have to understand that you have wiggle room and you have that autonomy to be able to decide what it is that you're going to accept in your life or for your career, essentially.
And you put in so much sweat equity that you can now. You in control. You have the knowledge and expertise. Knowledge is powerful, and you got a lot of it. Yeah.
Well, girl, this conversation, I knew this was going to be one where we could talk for like an hour. Like, it's so hard with you having so much knowledge. But one thing, aside from, okay, we did the challenges, we talked about that. But what would you, to kind of wrap it up, what would you tell someone, like knowledge or tips for someone who's starting out and kind of like maybe in your realm or just entrepreneurship as a whole that maybe you've learned and you want to like educate someone on, like to be like, avoid this, or just a tip or trick that has worked for you?
I would say stay true to yourself. So do things that, like, I don't believe in compromising who you are to do something. That never works out. It always comes back to bite me. So, like, I believe in, like, staying true to who you are, moving with integrity. Your name is very important. My name is, I'm very, very particular about my reputation. So, like, if you ask anybody from any circle that I'm in about me, they're going to say the same thing. So, I would say move with integrity, establish credibility, consistency, get clear on why you want to do things, because sometimes, like, we all go into business to make money.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes you can't, like, I feel like you don't always have to chase the money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to do what aligns with you and the money will come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say hold on to your vision, because you're going to get people that don't understand. That's okay. I could, like, throughout my time, I've had, me and Tiera was friends since like 9th grade, but I don't have a lot of friends that I've had for that long because they don't understand me now. So, like, they don't understand me. They don't understand how I move. They might see me out and about at events and stuff. That's all strategy. I do it because I'm building a business, and they think, you know, who's these new people you hanging around with? It's not.
Or they fake.
So, like, I would say be careful what you consume as well. Like, I'm careful about the TV shows that I watch. I'm careful about the music that I listen to. I'm careful about, like, the books and the podcasts. Like, I make sure I consume things to make me better all the time. Because no matter how strong we are, I like to think that I'm strong, but you still get influenced sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's well, listen. we have to stop you there, because that's something like we're big on, networking. And so you said one thing, which is establishing credibility and consistency. They kind of go together, because we were talking about this with someone else in another session, but like establishing that credibility, because now every time they see you, they know what to expect from you. Like when I see this girl, I know every time I see her, she's doing this, she's well kept, she exudes $1 million energy, all of these things. So your name, or even without you saying a word, your presence exudes what it is that you demand or what you expect from the world. And if you show up in the world a certain way, then you build that credibility. So that's something like that we've been big on. And even another thing you said was about putting yourself in those rooms. That's another thing we always talk about, because networking is like key, but that is also something that can like hold weight, because now that you're out of corporate, now you've been in all these rooms, you didn't establish all these connections, and now not necessarily are they giving you money, but they may be able to help you navigate and find ways to pour into what it is that you want to do, based on that credibility of you being consistent and showing up a certain way. So that is important, and I keep saying that too, and we are finding that for ourselves in this industry as far as entrepreneurship as a whole. So I love that. Like, you said a lot.
You definitely said a lot, and that's how I know you onto something, because I'm just like nodding and agreeing. Yep, checking off everything. Yeah, you could.
Because I usually, if I got something like a podcast or something, I'll be like prepare. And
that was you.
Where I saw your questions the other day, but I was like, I'm just gonna speak from like my heart. So I didn't like prepare or whatever. I'm like, no, this is a conversation. This need to be real.
And that's what we want. Like, that's what our podcast is about. Real conversations with real entrepreneurs, real struggles, real life, real raw. Because I think a lot of times people sugarcoat entrepreneurship, and everybody's a millionaire, everybody's getting all this money, everything is the shiny object syndrome, to where everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, but they don't understand the amount of consistency, ethics, drive, even when you ain't getting no money, like just all the things that pour into it. And that's what actually brought us to wanting to do a podcast, because through networking and us going through our own struggles with our own businesses and being kind of like a leaning arm, like we would lean on each other for help and support, we need to have these conversations and bring them to the screen to share and actually educate people, because there's a big education piece where people don't see what's really happening in the background. So that's why we're here today with this.
Yeah.
So in closing, what do you want to share? What do you want to promote? What do you have going on right now? You already shared you're going to be at Michigan State.
You have a workshop coming up. Did you
have
drop
a
the date
workshop
on your workshop?
Yeah, what is the date?
It's private because it's for a business entrepreneurship cohort.
Okay.
The private event, but no. So something new that I've been working on. I told you I'm trying to like show up on social media more. But I'm also getting in the like digital product space.
Ooh.
So I'm creating some ebooks too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And ebooks around, and I'm not even done, but so far I have a franchising one. And I have one for first time home buyers, and I have one for business owners who are purchasing their first property, or just purchasing a property and it's just like the basic things that you need to know. So these books that I created are like the basics of each of those. I'm gonna create some for HR too, but as I grow, I'm gonna create the more advanced books as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so that I'm working on. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as the Klee brand. I'm on LinkedIn as Kenisha Lee, but my stand store is linked in all of those pages.
Perfect. There you go.
We would definitely keep an eye on you. We would definitely keep a lookout, because I cannot wait to buy some of your ebooks. And
for sure.
We had a great conversation, so please join us again.
And we'll definitely have her back, because too much to talk about in one sitting. Like,
because I want to circle back and ask more questions about
it's a lot of questions that we could probably talk for like 2 hours, but we'll don't have all the time in the world. So we really appreciate your time. As she said, you can find her on all platforms as Klee Brand, LinkedIn, Kenisha Lee. And look out for ebooks. If you're looking for a realtor, if you're in the Detroit area, there you go. She's a broker as well. And then also make sure that you're following Co-Founder Diaries on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And we're also on YouTube. So make sure you're following, you're subscribing to our channel, and tapping in. We want feedback. Because as we go through this journey, we're pretty much bringing you guys along with us, but we need feedback to make sure that it's of quality, it's of what people want from the podcast. And we're just trying to take this thing and run with it and make it as successful as we can. So we appreciate your time, and as always,
until next time,
besties.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.